This is the podcast Il Zebra's Transformations. I am the Il Zebra. The main purpose of this podcast is to continue journaling so that I keep healing. This is not a diary, meaning that my records won't necessarily reflect events in their chronological order, nor do I promise that the details will be accurate. If listening to my processing of traumas helps someone else along the way, I'll take it as having accomplished something for the higher good of all concerned. But now, without further ado, let's start. Every life, every journey can and should be celebrated. Yours as well. There are many ways to share your voice, to share your story. Today, while continuing to share bits of mine, I'll also start showcasing other fun ways of being who you are. Santa was right. Or more precisely, my act is making him seem right. My son no longer needs to carry a bag when walking from school, although he could because at the age of 14 he's stronger now. Yet as Santa promised, at the age of 47, I'm sitting in a car line waiting to pick him up, listening to the Dr. Laura show. At first I hated it. Not the picking him up, because that's our bonding time, but the Dr. Laura show. Nevertheless, I keep listening because it airs on my preferred station, the same one that plays the Dave Ramsey show. I like Dave, so I'm stuck with Dr. Laura because I don't want to change a station and risk missing the beginning of Dave's show. I'm not that good with technology. I need to be very motivated to learn to use it. This forced listening has weirdly made me appreciate some of Dr. Laura's insights, even though I still wonder how the station hasn't shut her down for her anger issues and impatience, especially toward women. I wonder who the producer is, even though what would it change anyway? I have no authority, and it's frustrating. I mean, I don't care about having the authority to fire Dr. Laura. I hate having no authority in my marriage. So I contemplate starting a new business. I have had businesses and authority to let people go since I was 24. After moving to the US, I've been just a mom. Dr. Laura would attack me for using the word just in combination with the words mom or mother. She is cynical and critical of women who work to try to build or maintain businesses while being moms. She thinks women with young kids should leave making money to their husbands. I disagree with her. I know homeschooling wouldn't be good for my son till he's out of the nest, and I trust my mother's instinct because it's tried and tested. For example, I remember I was committed to breastfeeding him till his first birthday, following the advice of experts who claimed breast milk would provide all the child would need for the entire first year. I did my best. I breastfed him out of my mind even when he started demanding it every 30 minutes, until at around the 6-month mark it became quite clear to me he didn't have the energy to roll over, so I introduced meat straight from a spoon, and the problem was solved in a matter of days. He also never drank from a bottle, so I'm against sticking to each and every word of an expert. As I listen to her, I protest against her down-talking us women in her patriarchal, dismissive way. I resent her snarky comments about women having emotions. Hey, doctor, having hormonal fluctuations is part of being a woman. Have you never truly been one? Or has it been so long that you've forgotten? Frost isn't one of my parts, nor is she a product of my awkward mind, even though it feels like she could have been because of her experiences. Frost is an invention of Inga Gaile, a Latvian novelist. And her Latvian name isn't Frost, it's Sarma. I wouldn't have known Frost existed if Latvian Radio 1 hadn't turned Inga's novel Sweetheart into a play. It made me want to have a one-actor show, which I discussed with Mara. Anyhow, the show in Latvian is named Jaukumiņš, and the literal translation would be niceness. But I've studied translation theory, so I call it Sweetheart. Be it niceness or sweetheart, both really mean a people pleaser. I was thinking how to make her voice distinct when I would read her part, but then I realized I must read in my own voice. The doors of the legendary Santa Barbara store swing open, and out steps a woman carrying 2 heavy bags. It's Frost. To which Frost responds in her head. It's hard to say if I'm me, because my I, as a wholesome identity, hasn't exactly taken shape yet. It's more like some strange, ever-shifting mass. This mass is pushed and pulled by every gust of wind. And by wind I mean a single word, a pointed glance, a critique of my work, or an offhand comment from a hairdresser suggesting that a woman my age really ought to pluck out her grey eyebrow hairs. Sorry about that. Well, what has formed is my awkward self, a confused persona that stumbles between roles: mother of 2, writer, wife. Well, as regards a wife, though that belief was shaken when my husband, the father of my youngest child, announced he wanted a divorce. Though lucky me, he's giving me one more chance. He says he's going to therapy. And what stopped this self from fully emerging is years of conditioning. It was drilled, carved, and pounded into my brain not to be selfish. I was lectured through 1,000-year-old scriptures and rules. Love your enemy, forgive, obey, turn the other cheek, pluck your eyebrows, pluck your eyes, carry your cross, your guilt. I'm still not sure what my husband means by one more chance. And as I mentioned, did I mention this right? 2 months ago, I had a baby, and right now my oldest is watching the youngest. The father of my youngest, the one divorcing me because I'm unbearable, is at work. Well, at the library, frankly speaking, because he needs solitude so that he can function normally. And me, I just needed to get out, at least to the store. I'm trying to be grateful for the chance, trying to not overthink, trying to not think about my husband at all, because, well, girls, don't get mad. Girls, smile. Girls, remember, it's important to wait and wait. And then this is where all my bottled up anger has gotten me, stuck in a fight where my husband yelled that he wanted to kill himself. So I threw the big exercise ball at him, the same one I used during labor before the pain became unbearable, and then he called me and my oldest child idiots for begging him not to leave. Turns out he was just heading out to discuss our crumbling marriage with his mother. And despite of all that, despite everything, I closed my eyes and whispered to myself, I love him. The children need a father. I'm almost 40. Who will want me now? and a tiny voice inside me whispered that our sex life was good, but it was ages ago. And it's a universal truth. It's carved in stone. A woman shouldn't be alone. A husband is a wife's neck. So yesterday I prayed and I begged him to give me another chance. The white plastic bag covered in yellow and green dots rips open. Apples, potatoes, and bottle of pomegranate juice tumble onto the pavement, but nothing breaks. God exists. A man's voice in Russian, "Oh, kakaya zhopa." Official translation, "What an ass." Frost in her head. I make it home in one piece. The house hasn't burned down, the baby hasn't choked on a button or swallowed a battery, the older child hasn't thrown the younger one in a fit of rage, nothing catastrophic. Instead, they're sitting on the mattress that serves as our marital bed. The baby's grumbling, glued to the older child's phone, watching some manic cartoon about a blue cat and cockroaches. Not exactly age-appropriate for 2-month-old. And yes, technically, a 6-year-old shouldn't be babysitting a newborn. It's illegal, actually. But that they need food and that they are alive, the baby will get milk from her human milk machine soon enough. The older one will get her rollini, and me, I'll sit like a queen on a throne on pillows feeding my little ones. I won't even wash my hands after touching store-bought produce, because global pandemics haven't happened yet, and frankly I've been called a sloppy mother so many times I've lost count. My oldest's father, her piano teacher, by the ultrasound tech, by the maternity ward nurse, by my youngest child's grandmother, but I won't stress over that. I'll sit, milk will flow into my daughter's mouth, and I will know, after all, I'm real. I'm truly nice, a true sweetheart. As a wife of a guy who paid the bills for my son's private school, I also was that sweetheart, even though it all was so wrong, and I knew it. He wanted me to be his show pony, or rather a unicorn, but I was an ill zebra, scared and tired. Now, a 55-year-old, rested and peaceful, with her instincts attuned like never before, I whispered to myself, never again. The priority now is on proper care and feeding of Ilse B, the awoken lioness. Dr. Laura, I'm glad I never called you. My 47-year-old defensive self wouldn't appreciate your tough love. I needed a loving space then, and I received it elsewhere. But I kind of like you now. I like you for your courage to be the badass you are, even though your laugh sounds witchy. By the way, you can replace the W with a B, and that would work too. Before I sat down to record this, I looked you up and noticed your voice has softened since those years ago. Or maybe I remember you through the lens of those wounded, unhealed eyes. Now I saw you on YouTube reading letters. I've never written you either, nor do I think I ever will, but I did write to another Laura today. Her last name is Belgrade and she's written Tough Titties. How appropriate for my today's topic, isn't it? She's a badass too, hence I've agreed to receive her emails. In her last email, the one for her list, she wrote about an ad for Sara Lee whose jingle went, "Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sara Lee." She confirmed she liked Sara Lee, but also confessed she didn't like Wes Anderson movies except for Rushmore. and a bunch of other stuff. In her letter, she also referred to her book on which someone commented that the personal things Laura had revealed did nothing to promote her professionalism. And then came Laura's point. Whatever you create, someone won't like it or get it. You will turn some people off. You'd better hope you do. And that's what made me respond. "Hi, Laura," I said. "I recently resumed opening your emails. Or maybe I resubscribed because I'm trying to improve my writing in English. I don't think English per se is my challenge, as I've been translating legal stuff from Latvian to English for decades. My problem is that it was legal, European law, my safe space. I don't have much of a cultural reference when it comes to life in the US, and your emails painfully remind me of that. I grew up in Latvia, so I had no idea what Sara Lee, Wes Anderson, Rushmore, or Severance were until I looked them up. Well, in truth, I only looked up Sara Lee. For more than a half of my lifetime, I didn't even know what a blowjob was. I'm glad I didn't try to apply for it after I moved. It's embarrassing, I know, but how do you learn these things unless you come across them? Yes, that's how I learned what blowjob was. I'm curious about your book now after reading your haters' words. I'm curious, what personal stuff is there? Smart, strategic move, lady. I think I'm gonna order." So Laura wrote me back just a couple of hours later. She said, "Hi, Ilse. You are hilarious. I too am glad you didn't apply for a blowjob. Definitely read my book. There's a whole chapter on those, and many other things you'll need to look up. You'll be so filled in on US pop culture, some specific to the 80s. Thank you for your fabulous note. Ho, Laura." Now, my point of saying this is to invite you, badass, to get into my inbox. It's a safer space where we can be more open. The link to subscribe is in the text. But those who were waiting for a recommendation for how to find a husband, get a restaurant job and learn to be a true sweetheart. Work on your voice. Success is guaranteed or your money back. Hey, wait, I'm just kidding. The advice is free. You've been listening to the podcast of Ilse B. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and share it to show me your support and help me grow. If you want to learn more about me, my causes, my products, and my services, please visit my website ilzebe.com. That's ILZEBE.com. Disclaimers. In this podcast, I talk about mental and physical health and what has helped me to heal. Nothing that I say should be regarded as medical advice. If you have any medical condition, consult your doctor. Also, I'm an artist and storyteller. I'm sharing my stories because that's what artistic people do. Take it as fiction and as a form of my art. Even though I may sound as if I'm recalling events from my past, I don't confirm they actually happened. And if they did, I'm not blaming or accusing anyone, nor should you. I take all my life lessons with gratitude, trusting that they are given to me to expand my soul.